Good evening and welcome to Interbase Soccer Stadium for the second of our women's soccer doubleheader here today. It is Interconference NCAA Division II women's soccer action as Seattle Pacific University plays host to the Cal Poly Pomona Broncos. Falcons getting their season started off here at home. SPU 13-2-2 all-time in season openers. And let's meet the starting lineups. Up first for the Broncos. In goal, Clarissa Sanchez. In the field, Natalie D'Angelo, Daniela Pies, Taylor Rasmussen, Alyssa Carthen, Aline Graham, Cassidy Overstreet, Allison Hung, Ambria Pogue, Taylor Scott, and Amanda Duran. For the Falcons, in goals, Riley Travis. In the field, Asia Cayetano, Caitlin Willis, Megan Nielsen, Megan Moore, Michaela Sonsley, Sydney Smith, McKenna Reitz, Julia DeVere, Sophia Chilzik, and Casey Reeve. SPU kicking things off, starting the 2018 season, the 10th anniversary of the 2008 National Championship season, which will be celebrated here on Saturday against Minnesota State Moorhead. Falcons in all white will be moving from left to right on your screen here in the first half. The Broncos in green with white trim going the other way. Your referee is Richard Meeks. Assistant referees Saya McGee and Christian Clerk. Chelzik over the ball. Meeks blows the whistle. We're underway. Michaela Sonsley still tying her shoe there at the bottom of your frame. And she now joins the action. Falcon soccer, another season, getting started. It's now the 18th year of women's soccer here at Seattle Pacific University. Chilzik tied up there. Broncos win the ball. Back to Sanchez, the goalie. Rasmussen. Overstreet. Won away by Sonstely. Casey Reeve wants the ball in. Thrown from Cal Poly Pomona. Controlled by Cayetano. And back to Riley Travis. Travis, first-year goalkeeper out of Seattle, Washington. Played her high school ball very nearby. She played for Ballard. Cayetano has it there. Far side. Ball sent over the top by Caitlin Willis. And controlled by Sanchez. Well, like I mentioned at the top of our broadcast, this is the second match of the day. Back at 4 o'clock, Minnesota State University Moorhead took on Simon Fraser Clan. And it did not end well for the Dragons. 6-1 they lost Simon Fraser. Here's a through ball for Casey Reeve. Sanchez off her line. And gets to it before Reeve. Sanchez, distribution coming near side. Sonsley picks up the loose ball. Sonsley going toward Reeve. Aline Graham going over to the left, and it's one on the throw-in by Julia DeVere. Ball up to Reeve. Whistle goes. Referee gives a free kick to Cal Poly Pomona. It'll be restarted by Natalie D'Angelo. D'Angelo, driven ball. Controlled by the Broncos. Taylor Scott on it. Sends it out wide to Pogue. Looping cross in. Knocked back out by DeVere. Floated up to Chilzik. She knocks it down for McKenna Ritz. Ritz ties up on the far sideline, comes away with the ball. And hit down to DeVere. Sonstally. Megan Moore. SPU staying tight on possession here. DeVere going back toward Travis. Broncos setting the line of confrontation very high up the pitch. Not much room for the Falcons to work. They'll try a ball over the top toward Reeve. She'll trap it. Looking to swing it to the far side. It's cut out before it can reach Megan Nielsen. And rolls out for a Falcons throw-in. DeVere drifting to the far side of the field. Wants Nielsen. D'Angelo. Lost out the far side by Caitlin Willis. Taking the throw and getting it back is Pies. And Pies tripped up for a free kick. D'Angelo, restarting play, goes straight into Sophia Chilzik. Broncos trying to settle this ball. Carthen can't do it. They go back to Rasmussen. Asia Cayetano gets a header to it. Carthen. Pies. And Carthen dispossessed by Megan Moore. Pokes it ahead for Casey Reeve. And the chase is on. Reeve, a big touch into space. Going one-on-one with Sanchez. Reeve inside the box now. Reeve shoots. And she scores! Casey Reeve, after the great steal from Megan Moore, storms into the penalty area and puts SPU on the board with 37:02 to play in the first half. SPU leads 1-0. Really, one of the most underrated parts of that last move by Casey Reeve was that first touch to play yourself into space. You're faster without the ball at your feet, of course, but waiting at the right amount to knock it long so that you'll have a chance to outrun all the defenders. Sonstally now coming through, thinking about Reeve once more. That time Overstreet has the inside track. Sanchez going near side for Overstreet and misses. Casey Reeve, 10 goals last season for an SPU team that went 10-7 overall. She paced the team with 22 points. Throwing from DeVere, thinking about Chilzik. Sonstally pulls it by her defender. Tried to get it back to Reeve. Now it's Duran. Broken up by Sydney Smith. Chilzik, Sonstally. Smith down for DeVere. DeVere chops it to the byline. Moore gives chase to it. She's shielded away by Overstreet. Low ball out from Clarissa Sanchez. SPU fighting to win it back. That ball last off of McKenna Ritz. Cal Poly Pomona restarts with the throw-in. Pies going downfield, played out by Caitlin Willis. Pies will take the throw. Going ahead up to Aline Graham. And it's now an SPU throwing along the far side. SPU so lethal with the speed of Chilzik and Reeve up top. Massive threat on the counterattack for RB Busey's side. DeVere outside for Sonstally, too wide. Rasmussen, Overstreet. Graham lets it run by. Overstreet going over the top, looking for Graham. Broken up by DeVere. Sonstally takes over. In the middle for Ritz. Runners now. Chilzik trying to break away. Reeve giving chase as well. It might fall for Megan Moore. It's poked toward the byline by Overstreet. She'll get to it and concede the throw-in. DeVere will take the throw. In for Reeve. Sydney Smith gets to it. DeVere. And out for another SPU throw. DeVere floating toward Chilzik. Initial header from Graham. Secondary from Allison Hung. It's been a game so far played on the periphery. Plenty of throw-ins for either side. Taylor Scott. Broken up by Sidney Smith. Scott back on it now. Gets by Sonstally. Cayetano. Back to Caitlin Willis. And all the way back to Travis. Chilzik. Combining with Nielsen on the far side. Thrown in from Pies on the far end. Chilzik. Floated the head toward Reeve. Ritz. And Pies clears it away. Up towards Scott. Looks like that might have come off an arm, and it did. Free kick the way of the Falcons with 30-37 to go in the first half. Carthen can't get to the ball. Now it's DeVere. DeVere drifting to the left once more. DeVere right up at the middle. Floating through is Chilzik, who's onside. Chilzik, she's wide of the net. Floats it across. And the ball batted away. Comes behind Nielsen. As far as Ritz now. Ritz thinking about a shot, and that one's blocked above the 18. Smith going out wide once more. Now it's Chilzik. Has Reeve in the middle. Chilzik draws Sanchez, lays it in, and it's a brace already for Casey Reeve. 2 goals in the first game of the season. With 29:55 to go in the half, Reeve has made it 2-0. And the flag up for offside at the very end. That would have been on Casey Reeve. The flag stayed down for Chilzik. Still, the SPU Falcons in full flight here at Interbay Soccer Stadium. Casey Reeve, one step too eager to notch her second goal of the season. Allison Hung with it now. Can the Broncos do anything with the so-called momentum of a reversed goal? Here's Overstreet. Going up to Scott. Scott against DeVere. DeVere gets in front of her, goes down. The ball stays put. DeVere lying on top of it now. Scott back in the alleyway. Drops it back to Overstreet. She's picking her head up for a cross. And Sonstally hammers it out for a throw-in. Sidney Smith trying to clear the lines. Rasmussen floating the ball back in. Cayetano is there. Her clearance only gets as far as Pogue. And now it's won away by Nielsen. Nielsen trying the big ball down line, finds Chilzik. Chilzik pulls it past her defender. Chilzik has Pies on her heels. And the flag up for offside this time on Megan Moore. Slight delay while Clarissa Sanchez has one of her defenders tie her shoes. It's one of the great frustrations of the goalkeeping world. The gloves do save your hands, but make the fine motor activities a little bit difficult. Cayetano. Up to Reeve. Willis. Up as far as Chilzik. Her first touch has let her down. Well saved by Ritz. Cayetano going over the top. Megan Moore chasing after it. So is Sanchez. And Sanchez elects to wait right at the edge of the 18, and luckily for her, it bounces into her arms. Sonstally is looking for Reeve. One away by Hung. Julia DeVere putting a shoulder in. Allison Hung from the left alley. Cross into the middle. Dealt with by Willis. Sydney Smith clears it as far as the near sideline. First substitution of the match. And it's for the Broncos. Checking in is number 3, Casey Larson. Stepping on for Alyssa Carthen. Overstreet throws in from the near side. She's picked out Taylor Scott. Overstreet. Far side toward Pogue. Headed away by Nielsen. Nielsen has it. Megan Moore. Ahead to Chilzik. One back by Larson. Allison Hung. Sonstally. Sydney Smith taking some space. Opens up a lane for Sonstally. In the right alley now. Options at the back post. Sonstally chips one across. And no one on the end of it. It's out for a goal kick. Cayetano from her own end. Looking for Sonstally over the top. Sonstally in behind. Hung trying to recover. Sonstally serves across, and Sanchez diving to her right does a job of corralling that ball and holding on to it. Now they want Ambria Pogue, right side. She's got Taylor Scott in the middle. Pogue cuts to her left foot and has it blocked by Nielsen. And Ritz pokes it out of play. Searching ball for Allison Hung. Collision in the box. Hung guilty of the foul. And she's going to come over to help Julia DeVere to her feet by way of an apology. Cayetano looking over the top. Nicked away there. Casey Larson. Back to Pies. D'Angelo, Sanchez, and Rasmussen. And Rasmussen overhits, going to Overstreet. DeVere. In for Chilzik. Chilzik, early cross, in front of goal, and wide of the post is Megan Moore. And now 2 more subs for the Broncos.
Substitutes for Cal Poly Pomona. In the game, 25, Alyssa Larkin. And number 28, Allie LaCara Platt.
Alyssa Larkin and Allie LaCara Platt coming in for Cal Poly Pomona. And the flag up for offside against Cal Poly Pomona. Ritz going forward now. Megan Nielsen keeps it in play. Ahead for Chilzik. And Chilzik whistled offside. Megan Moore. Sonsley trying to settle this ball. Sonsley wanted to link back up with Moore. Instead, it's hit out the near side. Amanda Duran gives chase but can't corral it. Thrown into Reeve, who's double teamed and wins another throw-in. Convenient bounce falls for Larkin. Falcons concede the throw-in in transition. Rasmussen collects it on the overthrow. Sanchez on the ground to D'Angelo. Long ball forward from her. Caitlin Willis trying to go up the middle. One back by Larson. D'Angelo has it now at midfield. Ritz stecks in, gets a piece of it. Now Reeve wanted Sonstally. Allison hung. And she overshoots while going for Duran.
Checking in the game for the Falcons, number 3, Sierra Smith. Along with number 10, Brooke Lancaster, and number 14, Michaela Murray.
Sierra Smith, Brooke Lancaster, and Michaela Murray all on now for the Falcons. Coach Busey going through some substitutions with 14 and a half left to go in the first half. Rasmussen for the long ball. Taylor Scott got a piece of it. And Duran unable to link up with Overstreet. Sonsley spins out of pressure. Creates a bit of space for herself. Now up to Sierra Smith. Back to Sonsley. Hard hit ball into space. She was hoping to link up with Lancaster. Ball in from Rasmussen. Willis heads it above the 18. Hit toward Duran before it's cleared away, and Pies gives chase.
Subbing in for the Broncos, number 4, Samantha Putnam.
Megan Nielsen doing some hard work on the far touchline. Going ahead for Smith now. And knocked away from Murray. Looking for the big ball up to Duran. Wanted to keep it going. Ball one from distance, and the shot will not challenge Travis. .17 left to go here in the first half. Falcons leading 1-0 on the back of an 8th-minute goal by Casey Reeve. Brooke Lancaster. Cayetano under pressure, straight back to Travis. Here's DeVere. DeVere going through. And Sanchez picks it up at the edge of the box. Referee had played advantage. It'll come back for a free kick. Sidney Smith. Floated along by Murray. And Rasmussen hammers it away. Cayetano over the top. And the header back to Sanchez. Well timed by D'Angelo. Murray trying to fight her way onto this one. D'Angelo screening her off the ball. And more substitutions now. Emma Young on for SPU. Elise Garcia checking in for the Broncos will take this throw. DeVere knocks it back out of play. Duran has had no room to work on this near sideline in the first half. He's been swamped by the steady defensive presence of Julia DeVere. Sierra Smith has the ball taken off her. It's back for D'Angelo. Allison Hung. Pierce. Duran trying to turn. Cleared away. Knocked back by Young. Up to Murray. Murray loses her footing. Allison Hung has it now. And Garcia going back to Sanchez. Nielsen carries it through a challenge. Pushes wide for Lancaster. Lancaster wants the cross. Now Duran. Over top, Samantha Putnam Does enough to win a throw-in. Made more for Murray. Murray getting rid of it too quickly. Pies is there. Sierra Smith gets that ball. Murray going to go for goal here, and it's wide of the post.
Coming in for Pomona, number 20 is Jillian Irwin.
Jillian Irwin on now for the Broncos. Cayetano trying to pick up Murray. Sierra Smith going in against Garcia. Irwin looking up forward. Lancaster gets it to Moore. Moore calling for the ball over the top. It comes through for her. She lays it off to Sierra Smith. Ball comes behind her. Smith still trying to stay on the front foot here. Looking to turn past Irwin. And pushed back, turned over carelessly by the Falcons atop their 18. Lancaster sliding in to get it back is Moore. Sydney Smith wants Murray out wide. Murray holds the ball in. Squares to Smith, who shoots, and it's over the bar. Gone out for a goal kick. DeVere. Rasmussen concedes the throw. 2:15 until the break. Caitlin Willis has it. Cuts it back for Cayetano. 90 seconds to the half. Lancaster. SPU can't hold it in. Less than 50 seconds left in the first half. Pies on the ball, trying to work it ahead. Broncos have had a couple chances in the forward areas, but nothing that's really developed for them. Falcons have had a couple chances called back for offside, and the one goal from Casey Reeve in the 8th minute. Lancaster back towards Smith. 15 seconds to go now. Sierra Smith whistled for offside, and that'll probably do it here in the first 45.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Sanchez
2, 1.
just kicks the ball away as the half expires. And at the break, Falcons lead 1-0 over the Cal Poly Pomona Broncos. We'll take a break and return with some SPU scoring updates and the second half. We are back here at Interbay Soccer Stadium as we get set to start the second half. SPU Falcons playing host to Cal Poly Pomona Broncos. Falcons lead 1-0 through the first 45 minutes. In other SPU sports news, the Falcons volleyball squad started the season last week with a 4-set home victory over Fresno Pacific before losing their next 2 matches. SPU Spikers close out their non-conference portion of their schedule with 4 matches this weekend in Fresno. They start the tournament tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Chico State. The next home volleyball match is in Brougham Pavilion on September 13th at 7 o'clock against Western Oregon. The SPU men's soccer team kicks off the season with 4 consecutive road games. They open tonight at 7 o'clock against Chico State before visiting Sonoma State on Saturday at 5. Home opener for the Falcons men is slated for September 13th against Hawaii Pacific. Kickoff is 7 o'clock at Interbay Stadium. Come back Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock to watch your SPU women's soccer team take on Minnesota State Moorhead. A special ceremony will be conducted at halftime to honor the Falcons' 2008 National Championship team. This marks the 10th anniversary of that women's soccer title. We'll see you Saturday at 1 right here at Interbay Stadium. Casey Reeve has the Falcons out in front. 1-0 she scored in the 8th minute. Put another one in the back of the net about 8 minutes later, but was flagged offside. Falcons have been flagged offside 4 times this evening. We'll have to try to keep the assistant referees' flags down here in the second half. Not much in the way of shooting so far in this one. Falcons with 4 shots against Cal Poly Pomona's 2. And interestingly enough, 0 corner kicks total. So not much in the way of deflections either. Falcons back on the field now. We'll be moving from right to left on your screen here in the second half. Whistle goes. We're underway here in the second 45. Alyssa Larkin gets us started. Broncos hoping to have a fast start here in the second half. To Pogue. Larkin. Caitlin Willa steals it away. Sydney Smith. Up to Casey Reeve. Allison Hung. Been a goalie substitution for the Broncos. Sydney Williams, the 5'9 freshman out of Inglewood, California. He is now in goal. She attended Mira Costa High School. Ritz to Reeve. Ritz. Unable to link up with Michaela Sonstoli. Ball over the top. Reeve gives chase. Williams. D'Angelo. Caitlin Willis. She wants Chilzik. Chilzik trying to draw back against D'Angelo. And that leads to the evening's first corner kick, believe it or not.
SPU corner kick to be taken by Sydney Smith.
The in-swinger from Smith. Hard hit ball to the back post. Reeve there with the header, but directs it over the bar. Sonstoli with it now. Going through toward Ritz. Pies heads it back in. Ritz there to apply the pressure. Williams has it. Knocked long by Williams. Pies. Taylor Scott going ahead. She wants Duran. Sonstoli short for Smith. Smith has her head up here. Has options going for Moore. Ball comes through for her. Now runners in the box. Moore crosses, gets by Reeve. Chilzik is there, and clean as you like. It is 2-0. Sophia Chilzik had all the time in the world to watch that ball roll by. It's a great leave from Casey Reeve. And the Falcons double their advantage with 39:52 to go. Boy, a lot of credit on that goal due to Sydney Smith. Got the ball at midfield and ran with her head up for about 20 yards with the ball at her feet. Found Megan Moore and did a great job of slotting it through traffic to get to her. So Chilzik on the board with her first goal of 2018. And SPU leads 2-0.
At 50:08, Falcon goal scored by Sophia Chilzik. Her first of the year, assisted by Sydney Smith and Megan Moore. SPU 2, Cal Poly Pomona, nothing.
Smith behind Cassie Larson's there. top for Pogue. Nielsen. Larson redirects. Chilzik underneath it, heads it over to Reeve. Sonstally shrugging off challenges to an onside Megan Moore. Moore has Chilzik and goes at Williams. Chilzik not as wide open as she was on that last goal. Had a defender on either side of her. So Moore elected to drive it at goal herself. Now ball into space for Pogue. She's going to reach this. Has Scott in the middle. Duran calling for it at the back post. Pogue. Low driven cross. Sonsley the first one to it. As far as Pies. Pies straight into Ritz. SPU back on it. It's Chilzik. Chilzik, lethal in the open field. Look at her eat up the space. Went at Reeve. Sonsley takes over. Can't get it by Allison Hung. Hard one ball there by Julia DeVere. Reeve, outside for Moore. Chilzik making the move up top. Moore coming inside. Has Reeve to her left. Lays it off for her. Ball comes behind Reeve. Further afield for Ritz. Ritz trying to loop it back in. Rasmussen blasts it away. Sydney Smith has it back. Pass Sonsley. And Pies goes off of Megan Nielsen, who looks to have taken the worst of that collision. Cal Poly just discombobulated in the midfield. Falcons finding each other at will. Reeve has it once more. Chilzik. Shoulder to shoulder with Allison Hung, wins the ball. Passes come back to Travis. Caitlin Willis. Ritz. Nielsen. 35 and a half left to play. Falcons leading 2-0. Ritz takes over, has an option, goes to Sonsley. Blocked by Larson. Comes back to Sonsley, but the momentum is gone from the run. Summer Larrabee coming in for the Broncos. Well, she was checking in for Alyssa Larkin. Travis comes out to collect that at the edge of her box. Great job by Asia Cayetano to shoulder out Duran. Julia DeVere set to throw in from the far side. Looking for Chilzik. And Broncos have a throw-in. They'll substitute 2.
In for Pomona, number 5, Shayna Larson, along with number 16, Kaylin Tomlinson.
Shayna Larson and Kaylin Tomlinson in now for Cal Poly. Sonsley has it in space. Picks out Reeve. Reeve, one touch over the top. She wanted more. Going ahead now. Looking to Taylor Scott. Trying to link up with Tomlinson in the middle. Knocked away. Sonsley going over the top. Chilzik sprinting toward this ball. Reeve going to cut underneath her back into the middle. Chilzik forced to cross it early. Reeve getting to that ball. So is Pies. And D'Angelo shepherds it out for a corner. Great job by Daniela Pies to close that down for the Broncos. Keep it away from Casey Reeve, who was threatening to score again. Sydney Smith on the ground to Megan Moore. And pop back out of play for a corner.
Once again, Falcon corner for Sydney Smith.
Smith keeps it low along the byline. Smith now in control, back to Cayetano. Nielsen looking over the top. Ritz has it. Casually into Chilzik. Casey Reeve atop the 18. Can't get the shot off her foot the way she wants. That one's rolling toward the corner flag. That one might die on the goal line. And a free kick was given to Cal Poly. We've played an hour here at Interbay Soccer Stadium. Falcons leading 2-0 against the Cal Poly Pomona Broncos, who've just won another free kick on the far sideline. Ball floated over the top. Partial clearance by Nielsen, still not out of the woods yet. Caitlin Willis bodying up against Summer Larrabee on the near sideline, wins the throw-in for the Falcons. Thrown toward Chilzik. Gaetano going to have some difficulty dealing with this one. Collision in the box. And nothing given. Taylor Scott got to her feet, was looking for the referee to point to the spot. But Richard Meeks didn't see anything that warranted a penalty. Nielsen. Sonstely. Nifty footwork from Sonstely. Chilzik making a run at the edge of the back line, trying to stretch it out. Stopped cold by Casey Larson. Larrabee. Down to Pies. Ritz with it here. Shouldering in and winning back is Kaylin Tomlinson. Allison Hung pushes far side for Overstreet. Shayna Larson. Casey Reeve trying to play herself ahead here. Reeve! And Williams off her line. Tracks it down. Won by Julia DeVere. DeVere pushing her way in here. DeVere brought down at the edge of the box. Referee coming in to award a free kick, and just a free kick. And will there be anything extra in it for, I believe, Kaylin Larson, who brought DeVere down? Had a case for a fast break there. Not unheard of to see a yellow card brandished in those situations. Richard Meeks looks like he's just giving the spot kick. Four in the wall for the Broncos. Sydney Smith over the ball, which is on the 18. She plays it short and too quickly. After all, asking for the 10 does mean you must wait for the referee's indication before you can resume play. Overstreet within the 10 yards here. Moore going to join the wall now. Smith going for goal and missing high. Irwin back on. Allison Hung checking out for the Broncos. 24:30 left to play. Sydney Williams. Can't get it clear. Rasmussen. Overstreet trying to do what their goalie could not. And DeVere wins it right back. DeVere straight back up to Casey Reeve. Hard collision on the far touchline, but a fair one. Out as far as Sydney Smith. Smith pokes it out wide looking for Sonstely. And it's gone out. And R.B. Busey livid with the referee. He feels there was more than a fair challenge in that contact. And he is being ushered back to the technical area. In space is Taylor Scott. Blocked by Willis. Sidney Smith. She and Tomlinson do battle. They're going to lay it off to Pies. Broncos, a bit of momentum now. Broken up by Smith. Further by Moore. Chilzik to turn. Reeve. Nielsen hits it to Ritz. Ritz spins out of the challenge from Pies. Advantage played by the referee. Runs through a second challenge, does Ritz. The freshman's a wrecking ball. .22:40 left to play. Daniela Pies looking for Tomlinson. Tomlinson gets the ball by Nielsen. Tomlinson moving ahead here. Has Larson and Scott in the middle, but hits it straight to Cayetano. Moore going for Chilzik. Assistant referee waiting to flag her offside. Chilzik sees it, lets the ball run to Williams. Five substitutions, 2 for the Broncos, 3 for SPU at this whistle.
In for the Broncos, number 4, Samantha Pucker, and number 18, Amanda Durant.
Sarah Smith, Murray, Brooke Lancaster all back on for the Falcons.
And in for the Falcons, 3, Sierra Smith, 10, Brooke Lancaster, and 14, Michaela Murray.
DeVere has it on the far side. She collides with Duran. Back to her feet now. It's Lancaster. Run into by Larrabee. Lancaster fighting to get it back. Cayetano clears it downfield. Megan Moore has it now. Murray making a move into the middle. Murray might get to this ball. Williams off her line. Gets it in traffic with D'Angelo piling in. Tomlinson. Pies. Thrown into Irwin. Poked away by Murray. Smith. Dancing around out there. Gets to Murray. Lancaster running wide. Sierra Smith. Back now for Sidney Smith. And Falcons will reset. Lancaster over the top. Sierra Smith gets to the ball, and Williams picks it up off her foot. Inches away from drawing Williams out of their net completely. As we're inside the 20-minute mark, 70 minutes played, and SPU leading 2-0. Sierra Smith. Beneficiary of a free kick there. Referee saying that Natalie D'Angelo was pushing Smith. And some of the traveling Cal Poly Pomona fans not happy with the call. Sidney Smith over the ball now. Smith floating this one in. Header from Irwin. Murray gets a foot to it. Still loose. This one might be on frame here. Moore tried to get it inside. And a flag up for offside. So Broncos avert the danger. Pies. D'Angelo. Long through ball looking for Tomlinson. AJ Cayetano has to sell out physically. Only gives away the throw-in under pressure from Duran. Overstreet throws in. They keep it away from Samantha Putnam. Overstreet once more. Now for Duran. And Sydney Smith knocks it out of play. Overstreet. Cayetano the first touch. Larrabee. Overstreet just trying to force that ball back in there. Duran blocked that time by Brooke Lancaster. Irwin. Daniela Pies. And Sydney Smith's won it away. Can the Falcons conjure something on the break? Smith turns and redistributes. Megan Nielsen. Back for Caitlin Willis. And further back to Travis Riley, who has, by all accounts, had a pretty calm night over the first 75 minutes of this match. Another long ball, and Riley picks that up with no trouble. Sydney Smith cleans up her own mistake, but stays down. She's down behind the run of play. Muri. Cut away, D'Angelo. And Richard Meek's going to whistle the play dead so that Smith can be looked at. Meek's going to wave on the training staff. Caitlin Willis helping her stretch out. Looks like Sydney Smith might have just cramped up a little bit. Been a long physical shift for her in midfield. Smith back on her feet now. Play will restart with a drop ball. And Megan Moore will knock it back to the Broncos. Sonsley checks in for Sydney Smith. Ava Giovanola is in now for the Falcons. First year out of Sammamish, Washington. Sonsley gets to this ball, cuts to her right. Switches to Moore. Ball left in space. Picked up by Duran. She's going to chop it up to Putnam. Caitlin Willis turns to the outside with it. And hits it back to Sonsley. McKenna Ritz. Willis. And back to Riley Travis. Asia Cayetano. The standing chip shot. Lancaster heads it along. Muri holds it in play. Ritz. Sonsley. 14 minutes left to go. Sonsley. Try to go through the middle. And DeVere wins it tracking back. Giovanola. Willis. Ritz, who's dropped into the holding midfield in Sydney Smith's absence. Giovanola wants Sonsley. Pies intercepts. And now it's Pies' turn. She's played pretty much the entire match. And she is down and appears to be cramping as well. Pies, got to give her a lot of credit. She's put in a hard shift, the sophomore from La Mirada, California. Pies on her feet now. She'll walk off with some assistance. Giovanola with the throw-in on the near side. Sonsley's committed a foul in a forward position. Jayla Cruz, a sophomore out of Woodinville, Washington, getting a big cheer from what we can only assume are friends and family as she checks in. Cassie Larson further field from Tomlinson. Riley Travis comes out of her area, smashes it up towards Sonstally. Giovanola. Ritz. Broncos trying to clamp down, keep SPU in their defensive third. Swung out to Sonstally. Rides through pressure on the back from Elise Garcia. Garcia to Tomlinson. She and Giovanola tie up. Play continues. Garcia wins it back. And Giovanola plays it off of Tomlinson to win the throw-in. Giovanola to Smith. Cayetano. Sierra Smith drops it off for DeVere. DeVere, a big cross into space. Williams tracks it out of the air, spills it. She's been fouled. And the referee wastes no time blowing the whistle on that one. Michaela Murray has her hands up, apologizing. She was going for the ball in the air. No ill intent on going for that ball. Just one of those situations where it is a 50-50 ball for as long as it's in the air. Williams got there first, and then Murray came through hard. Well, anytime someone tells you that they don't think soccer is a contact sport, go ahead and show them that play. 9.5 left to go as Williams restarts us here. Falcons leading by 2. That one comes off Giovanola. And it'll lead to a substitution for the Broncos. Aline Graham coming in. Taylor Scott back in as well. Very forward-heavy lineup right now for head coach Jay Mason. Duran. Ball intercepted by Despain. Over the top. This might fall for more. A touch to control. And a great job by D'Angelo to interfere with her run long enough to let Williams collect that ball. Broncos still pressing. Hit up the far side. Taylor Scott wins a throw-in. Graham for Duran. It's Duran, a left-footed shot, blocked in the box by Despain. Falls for Scott and right at Travis, who's equal to the task. That the best chance of the night for the Broncos. Cayetano back for Travis. Giovanola. Garcia gets it away from her. Murray looking to turn. Taken away by D'Angelo. D'Angelo going ahead here. Poked away by Giovanola. Picked up by Murray. Sierra Smith. Moore making the run through. Foot race with her and Larson. DeVere. Kept in by Moore on the far side. Sierra Smith falls for her. Cut back for Lancaster. Ball's behind her. Murray wants the drop off. So does Sonstally. And in the end, it's cleared away by Graham. Sliding in his Ritz. And play stopped as I believe it is Jovanola who stayed down behind the play. She collided pretty heavily with D'Angelo before that ball ran the other way. Clock is stopped with 6:57 to play. Megan Nielsen back in for the Falcons. Sonstally knocks this back to Williams. Under 7 to play. Ritz wins the ball at midfield. Murray looking to turn. Drops it off to Lancaster. DeVere, early ball in. Moore lets it run by her. So does Murray. Shot toward goal and right at Williams by Michaela Sonstally. Another floating ball from Williams. Comes off the side of Megan Nielsen. Garcia has it. She's tied up with Sonstally. Tomlinson ties up and wins the throw. Play continues. Sierra Smith at midfield. Murray shouldered off the ball. Richard Meeks letting him play. Taylor Scott has the ball at her feet. Nielsen comes in and disrupts it. Murray, hard hit ball out to Moore. Back in for Sierra Smith. Lancaster. Near side to Nielsen. Looking for Sierra Smith over the top. Smith. Over toward Murray. Murray fights off a challenge. Murray goes for goal. She's lifted it high. Kind of had to scoop that with the outside of her right foot. Awkward angle for the shot. Almost put it on frame. That looks like it's going to do it for Sierra Smith this evening. Sophia Chilzik going to check back in just to try to lock things down up front for the Falcons. They lead 2-0 with 4:41 to play. Lancaster slides in, wins the ball. Cayetano has it here, under pressure from Scott. She'll go back to Travis. Travis coming back to the near sideline. Sonstally underneath it. Displaced by Garcia and draws the free kick. Nielsen restarts short to Lancaster. Nielsen and Tomlinson tie up. Free kick for the Broncos. It'll be Rasmussen to send it in. Driven to the back post. Headed toward goal, but right at Travis. Travis lobs it square to Cayetano. 3:14 left to play. Cayetano gets by Tomlinson. Nielsen hits it behind Murray. D'Angelo. Into Cassie Larson. Duran going ahead for Taylor Scott. Cayetano has it, and back to Travis it goes. Or flips it along. Chilzik. And Chilzik putting in hard work out there on the far touchline, concedes the throw-in. Two to play. Ball runs out on the far side. It's a Cal Poly throw-in. As the referee overrules the AR on the far sideline. Referees give it a free kick rather than the throw-in. Murray to settle. Finds Lancaster. Lancaster taking some space. Chilzik calling for the through ball. Goes left instead to Sonstely. Sonstely, left-footed pass to the back post. And can't find Chilzik. That one nearly on frame itself. It'll be recorded as a shot. .55 seconds left to play now. So SPU looks to improve on its traditional opening form. Travis hits it near side to Nielsen. Garcia wins it away. Cayetano just blasted into the stands as there's 30 seconds remaining. Garcia into Larson. Larson going over the top. Travis collects this one. Going to wait for pressure from Tomlinson.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And time expires here at Interbay Soccer Stadium on the backs of goals from Casey Reeve and Zofia Chilzik. One in each half. SPU Falcons win their season opener, improving to 14-2-2 all-time in their first match of the season, taking down Cal Poly Pomona here in Seattle, Washington. That's going to do it for tonight's coverage. Again, SPU will be back at home on Saturday, September 1st at 1 p.m. to take on Minnesota State Moorhead. And we will have a stream of that game for you here. But that's going to do it for us tonight. For all of us here at SPUFalcons.com, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.